The far left-wing sports media is back at it again. They will literally pull up tweets from 3, 4, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and pretend to be offended by those tweets by using 2020 standards. Then they will shame whatever athlete it is that said those just so they can get the apology, just so they can show that we can make people bend the knee for offensive jokes. Yet now we have a prominent player in the sports left-wing industry, Dan Le Batard show, posting a poll making fun of Jonathan Isaac and his season-ending knee injury, all because Jonathan Isaac doesn't line up with the narrative. This is absolutely ridiculous how all of this continues to operate. How are people not seeing the nonsense and the hypocrisy here? ESPN is trash. It's so pathetic. And here we got it right here on Outkick.com. Dan Le Batard deletes disgusting Twitter poll. Its posting was clear liberal privilege. And that's a real thing. And it says, Dan Le Batard show attempted to impress his Twitter followers with a humorous poll. And it went over with the masses like a lead balloon. The show posted a question asking if it's funny that Jonathan Isaac, the Orlando Magic big man who stood for the national anthem, blew out his knee with a season-ending ACL injury. And then, of course, once it didn't get the response they wanted, they deleted the poll. Here is the poll. And it says, is it funny that the guy who refused to kneel immediately blew out his knee? Now, let me be clear. All right. I'm not the joke police. Okay. So if you want to make a joke about this, you can make a joke about it. I don't have to find it funny. You don't have to find it funny. Maybe Le Batard finds it funny, and that's totally fine. I find a lot of effed up things funny, and a lot of my effed up sense of humor doesn't really set well with some people. So in isolation, I am not going after the joke itself. What I'm saying is these are the same people. This is the same far left-wing media that will go back 10 years ago and find a tweet that they deem offensive by 2020 standards and make people apologize, sit there and trash them and get the media machine behind it. Yet it's okay for the left-wing sports media to joke about a professional athlete who happens to be a black man having a season-ending knee injury, but then at the same time, they want to tell you how important black lives are and black people's voices and listening to black people and understanding their side of the thing. But then here they are, when the moment that Jonathan Isaac decides he wants to stand for the national anthem, that's controversial in 2020. And people like Dan Le Batard want to make tasteless jokes about it. Yet, let's be offended over 10-year-old tweets by some random player. And let's hold him accountable by 2020 standards. Ridiculous. And as it says here, you know, Le Batard's show is the king of the far left sports coverage. A player standing is so bothersome that it justifies laughing at a gruesome injury. Could you imagine Le Batard running a similar poll if Colin Kaepernick went down with an injury? Of course not. He'd be met with a termination letter before he had time to check his Twitter account. According to the Le Batard colleague Mark Jackson, Kaepernick is a hero. Last night, Jackson praised the former quarterback like the modern-day Muhammad Ali during the NBA broadcast. Le Batard's poll was disgusting, clearly, poking fun at an injury that not only alters a player's career, but life, is inexcusable. Unfortunately, it is also not surprising. Excluding a few sports media, overwhelmingly looks at those who don't kneel as enemies. Despicable bigots, they might say. The coverage of those athletes doesn't include decency. As in the case of any industry, employees know what they can get away with and what they can't. So those in favor of the double standard push it until they go too far. Woj felt comfortable enough to send an FU to a senator. Maria Taylor pinned a photo of Barack Obama to her profile as ESPN's host recently kept going full-on Rachel Maddow. A Le Batard producer called the NBA the real leaders in sports, not long after a damning report of its relationship with China emerged. And subsequently, on air, the network avoided the report while praising the NBA's return and its social justice statement. Nope, no double standard at that network. And yes, that is my problem with it. My problem is this is all about politics. This is all driven by politics. And it is a mob mentality from the far left-wing sports media. They will tell you how important it is for black lives to be heard and for black voices to be heard and for black people to share their opinions. Yet you have one guy who decides to stand for the national anthem. And because that goes against the narrative, suddenly it's not about having black voices heard. Suddenly it's about shaming someone because they don't line up with your narrative. This is my big problem with sports media. This is my big problem with the NBA and the NFL right now, is it is a groupthink mentality. It's not about having an opinion. It's about having the right opinion. And if you don't have the right opinion, you're not allowed to have an opinion. And if you do have an opinion that doesn't line up with the narrative, then they will go after you. They will trash you, and they will make an example of you. They keep talking about how it's okay to have social messages and you can speak about politics. But guess what? There's not going to be any pro-Donald Trump jerseys out there, is there? There's not going to be anybody preaching about how it's okay to support the President of the United States. There's nobody out there that's going to say it's okay to support police officers. There's nobody out there saying it's okay to stand for the national anthem, because you're not allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to have the right opinion according to the far left-wing narrative. And Dan Le Batard is garbage for that. Not garbage for the joke. The joke in isolation, I can take it or leave it. And I have an effed up sense of humor. I understand that. But when it comes to how they shame people for 10-year-old tweets, but they find this okay, continues to show the hypocrisy in sports media. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I do appreciate that. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below. Go check out our website, geeksandgamers.com. Sports Wars is part of Geeks and Gamers. Geeks and Gamers covers theme parks, video games, movies, sports. You know, if it's something that people are genuinely interested in from a geeky perspective, we try to cover it. And yes, sports are as nerdy as anything else out there. Fantasy football is the nerdiest thing on the planet. So again, if you guys are interested, go make yourself an account over on geeksandgamers.com. Jump into the forums. We do have a sports forum. We have a movie forum, TV, video games, general forums, pretty much anything you want over there. And for $10 a month, you can consider becoming a premium member, and that gets you exclusive access to a lot of our content. You guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later.